So if you think you're sitting at home for a week and 2 weeks and your customers are coming back, this is not going away tomorrow.
Join the movement. Change what you can with the MG ZS EV.
So March 24th, 2020 was the day where a lot of our lives changed. I think from then, at RBL, we kind of morphed our way very instantly into a very different direction in connecting with our consumer family. It was important for us to stay connected with them. I think the time was such that we felt it was important to stay connected, but to stay connected in a very emotional way. So our entire communication kind of revolved in, talking to them more about, not about really selling a product, but emotionally connecting with, like, we are here for you for anything that you may require. It was more about, the brand storytelling changed a lot. We went an extra mile at Reliance Brands Limited to offer our consumer who's a luxury consumer. Today there's nothing that, money cannot buy, but times were such that we started offering them services from, our sister brand, Reliance Fresh. That is there, can we help you deliver some groceries to you? What else is not available to you? There were people you can reach out to me for a bed at the Reliance Hospital. So we did have a few of these requests because we were offering this to our customers, during all our communication, that we are here for you for anything that you may require. So I think that really helped us connect with them in a very emotional way. Other than that, the brand storytelling changed for the first time. And I think it was a very quick pivot that the brands made into changing the way they were telling their brand story. Like at Jimmy Choo, they had, had a contest, sketch contest. And the inspiration was around, hope and positivity and optimism. So the messages that the brands were sending out were also very emotional. And it was like sketch your dream. And, there were winners to it. And there was the contribution of the shoe that would be created finally was towards a good, a donation. So most of our brands, whether it was Coach, Michael Kors, Jimmy Choo, Tumi, all had, were working towards very, very, I think the entire focus was moved towards philanthropy. Like what are we giving back? How are we giving back to society? So their communication on their social media, on their digital, to the customers was all completely changing. And it was, our role in India to make sure that the same was communicated to the customers here. In fact, what was very interesting was from Michael Kors. Michael himself was like spending time with his consumer about, on a daily basis. Like it was like, with Michael at home. So every day you could connect, live, and he was like connecting with you while he was exercising, while he was cooking something. So yeah, so it was trying to take them away from these morbid kind of, scenario that was around you. And more towards hope and optimism and, things that would just occupy your mind in a more positive way.
That phase is sort of behind us in the sense that now things have started opening up and people are slowly but coming out to shop again. So moving on, what is the marketing and the PR strategy now, and how big a role does digitization play in all of this?
I think the digitization continues to play a very important role and will now on continue to, play that role in all our, so we introduced the concept of distance selling. Or, so while we always offered our customers, services to shop at home, but this distance selling was, where even today, consumers are not really comfortable coming to the mall. And because they're not comfortable coming to the mall, what we have done is created this beautiful e-catalogs and flip books, and the entire collection is available to you on a catalog, from your prices to the sizes that are available for you. We've even curated catalogs specially for some of our VIP customers, knowing that you are, this is your size and these are your preferences. So this catalog is exclusively for you. So we've really gone really deep into personalizing things for each of our consumers. So that Distinct Selling offers them catalogs online, which we send by WhatsApp. They FaceTime us at the store. We do video calls at the store. We take them around everything that's available. We offer them home shopping. We've introduced curbside pickup, that if you, after you shop and you just want to drive by and pick it up and don't want to really come inside the mall, that is available to you. We do video call appointments, so you can book an appointment and, so that we take you through the store. And more so over, even till date, we have a closed appointment at the store where if you are visiting the mall and if you choose to visit after you have gone through the catalog and narrowed down on everything that you wanted, we have like a fixed time appointment for you, and you can come to the store and the store will be reserved for you for those hours. So we've offered a lot of these services to our consumer, but of course we continue, communicating digitally. I think social media, WhatsApp, video calls, even on a video call, how are you, the opening conversation, the closing conversation, what is the lighting, what is your background, how you are presenting yourself, how you are standing at the store, which area of the store is where the network is good, so that, you don't kind of keep cutting off the call with your consumer. So a lot of science and a lot of thought has gone behind each of these points, because we realize that, it needs to be a seamless experience. You're just trying to give the consumer the same experience you give them when they come to the store. So we're just trying to make everything seamless, trying to make everything luxurious. And I think this is going to stay and continue for some time now.
So it's amazing how you pinpointed all these small things and thoughts that goes behind connecting with the consumers, especially when you're planning to, especially when the focus is so much on digitization now. Tell me how crazy things get at the back end, because none of us were really prepared for something like this. So how did you guys prepare, and how did you evolve? How did you train the team so far?
So, well, at Reliance Brands Limited, we are a large team. I think our focus has always been, making the consumer experience, the retail experience luxurious. I think we pivoted very, very fast. So it was literally in that first month, we retooled ourselves and pivoted and started thinking much ahead of what times are going to be. I think it was, I think Darshan Mehta kind of was a good leader. He directed us and he was like foreseeing it much ahead of us. That's what got us all moving and thinking together that how are we going to change this? So, being we have like almost 40 brands with us. So whether it was one brand, and I think sometimes we were working ahead of our international and global markets, because very often, when I was reaching out to them and saying, I want some safety measures, and what is the hygiene and safety I'm displaying at the store when it opens? And they were like, oh, really? Do we need to do that? And I said, of course, because I didn't know when it was opening. So we were prepared much in advance, I think months before we opened, with all our safety hygiene measures, not only what we were displaying, but every step that we would be taking at the store to maintain that hygiene and that safety, not only for our consumers, but also for our employees. So I think we were much ahead of our global markets. And there were times when I was sharing information with them that this is what we are going to be doing. So other than that, even our training and our training team completely moved to training them on how they will be maintaining this hygiene. After that, how they will be. So together, the marketing and the training team, we got together and we were training all the store staff on Distinct Selling and video calls. that when you are on a video call, how you will be standing, how you will be presenting the bag, how you will be displaying it, how you will turn it around to show it to your customer, making the payment links easier. What were the payment links that will be used to make the payment, how you will deliver it, how you will sanitize the bag. So I think we were well prepared in advance, way before we opened, to every step that would go in opening. So yeah, I think, kudos to the team, who's really worked on it. And we went through every detail, from the operations team to the training team to the marketing team. So yeah, we've had a very, very busy lockdown, honestly. So while people say, but I don't understand why you're so busy, because the stores are shut and there are no sales happening, I say, don't ask, but we are very busy. So this is what we were working towards, and yeah, this is what kept us really busy, but we are like so prepared for everything today.
That's great. And I mean, I know that a lot of people say that why is everyone so busy? But I think the luxury sector was very busy, including us.
Yeah.
Also, now moving forward, how are you going to take this experience to another level, especially the whole experience of shopping? Because a lot of the times, especially luxury consumers, like to touch and feel the product. So how are you going to enhance the products now? So all across the world, there have been some really cool virtual stores and virtual tours and things like that. So what is coming up next at Reliance Brand?
Well, I believe there is something exciting coming up. I don't know when it'll be launched, but yeah, we have something exciting coming up. I don't think I have the liberty to speak about it, but we do have something coming up soon at Reliance, which will be like virtually walking into a store is what I can say. But other than that, we had something very exciting for our shopping festival, which we just finished, the Luxury Shopping Festival, which was a property which we created just to kind of increase the decibel level of luxury conversation and kind of foster some positive sentiment amongst our consumer shopping. So we created the biggest end of season sale with all our brands together. And it was the digital selling first online sale that happened. So we had like channels which were having conversations with, just imparting knowledge and very interesting conversations on art and vintage cars, to skin, to beauty, to health, fitness, and we had a lot of industry leaders joining us in these conversations. And we had another channel, which was like a see now, buy now channel, which you could log on at any time. There was a store live where you could see the collection and buy. So I think this was one of the first, digital selling concepts that was created, and it was created by us, and it just ended and is very successful, and we plan to continue it. So even when people start going to the mall and, maybe the next season when the sale happens, I think we had such a fabulous response that we do plan to continue this even going ahead. So yeah, so it was an idea that we developed, and I think we put this together in a matter of a week. We just couldn't believe it ourselves, how we were churning it out over 3 weeks, and weekend on weekend it was getting bigger and better and more exciting. But we put it together very, very fast, but we had a great response, and we plan to continue the Luxury Shopping Festival.
That's actually very impressive. I mean, 3 weeks is unthinkable, but you guys did it, and I have heard like rave reviews about the festival myself. So yeah.
If you didn't catch some of the conversations, we still have them on. In case you missed any of the conversations, like I go back to them all the time, referring to it all the time.
I'll check it out for sure if in case I've missed a few. Also, how has the relationship with media, just putting the word out, how has that changed and evolved? And how has your strategy changed in that area?
So, well, of course, the relationship with media, I think our relationship with media continues to stay. The media is always very supportive. We did a very big announcement during the lockdown with Rajesh Pratap Singh as announcing Rajesh Pratap Singh as the creative director for Satyapal. And it was right in the middle of the lockdown. As the lockdown has opened, we even launched our a new brand, Emporio Armani 7, EA7, which is a brand under the Armani umbrella, and we've just launched it in Delhi. So we're making our big announcements when the time is right. It's not that, we don't believe that we have to wait for things to get back to normal. And so I think everything continues. Yes, of course, I think advertising is something that's the only thing that we would have stalled and, stopped right now. You just print media or print magazines is not what everyone is getting into their homes right now. And also because, if you are not selling and, at this point of time, the sales are not at 100%, you will not think of advertising. But other than that, releasing all our, new brand assets and new, whether it's a new bag, whether it's a new brand, whether it's a big announcement, I think the media continues to support us. And I think this is the time when people are, very engrossed in reading online and digital. So I think, this is the time where they have more time to do it as well. So I think they're really absorbing all this information really well. So a lot of our brands, like even Bottega Veneta, created an online residency where they were inviting talent from across the world. And that was a story which was, beautifully carried by most of the fashion publications. So I think our relationship continues the same way. The only thing that I think that's lacking is the on-ground events, which now seem to become virtual. But other than that, it's just the same.
Okay. And I think my last few questions really, how soon do you think things will sort of get back to normal, or the kind of revenues, like you spoke about, like the physical events, do you see that happening anytime soon? And when will, according to you, the revenues sort of be back pre-lockdown days?
So I can just cross my fingers for that it happens really soon. But I don't think I have an answer for that one, because I think before our events, we need to see how are the weddings happening. Because there are so many weddings that have been postponed, and people are trying to do smaller weddings. So, at any event, we had events which were anything from 20 people to 100 people. So I can't think of an event less than 20 people right now. And I don't think it would be safe enough to have 20 people at any store at one time like we used to. So I think safety would be our priority always for our customers and our employees. So I don't think we'll be looking at that for some time now. In fact, our office is shut and we are not going to office, and we continue to work from home till end of the year. So I think that's a long time away for sure. But we have some exciting ideas and concepts on some virtual events, which are coming up and which we are working on now. So yeah, we're just trying to make the entire experience virtual and just trying to make it a little bit more exciting because these are the times we're living in, and so we just got to make this entire journey, a little bit more exciting for everyone.
Okay. And last question really, and after that, please feel free to add or parting notes. How do you keep yourself motivated in these crazy times?
So I must say it wasn't easy initially. You're just, you are a people's person. You're used to interacting a lot with people through the day. But, I think I just started getting a routine for meditation, and I felt I found time for that. That is something that I've always been connected with, but I always push it aside because I have no time. And that exactly that time that I used to take reaching work is exactly the time I spend meditating today. So that 30 minutes of my day, exactly that time when I used to leave home, I have that time now to meditate, and I think that really helped me. It really helped me stay calm. It really the day just sailed through. And of course, there were highs and lows and the stress and, this has to be done and that. But I think that just kind of balanced me beautifully. So I think everyone needs, something to, in today's time, to, it could be exercise, it could be nature. Like I made sure I placed my desk right at my window where I have a beautiful sea view. So I think, connecting with nature, connecting with the universe, I think those were the things that kindly kept me motivated and kept me balanced. So yeah, and of course, a lot of people took to cooking and baking. So I think it's just each one, what you find for your own self. And trust me, and that whatever makes you happy and gives you that joy is what will just keep you motivated through it.
Okay.
I think we're almost at the end. Hopefully, I can say that.
Yes, fingers crossed. And any parting thoughts, Deepika?
Well, I just think that I'm just hoping that we have Diwali coming up. It's a very it's an auspicious festival for us. Other than being an important festival for us, for sales, but it's also a very auspicious festival for us. And I think it's, for each one of us, we need to kind of, come out and support each other, whether it is a store, whether it is a restaurant, whatever businesses are, I think we all need to be supportive and extend our, ourselves towards each other to support it for everyone to survive. Because today, it's like a domino effect. It's not only that the big will survive and the small. I think it's affected each and every human being, from every health around us to each and every person. So I think each of us needs to think that by Diwali, we need to get out of this, and we just need to, while staying safe, we need to just start thinking that how am I going to, support the entire, each other to get the economy to get back to where it was.
Yes, I think that's extremely important. And I think a great way to end the interview and the discussion. Thank you so much, Deepika, for your time.
Thanks so much, Riddhi.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.